Hello everyone, my name is Anthony Shivkumar, and in today's video I'm going to continue on the Matter protocol, but I'm going to be using the NRF53 Thingy53 with the attached Wi-Fi modules. So I have the new products out here and I have not yet opened it, and I thought I'll just do a live unpacking of these modules and we'll program the Matter protocol, I think the weather software, and we'll use the Wi-Fi because I'm struggling to use the thread interface for some odd reason, but we could use the Wi-Fi and then try to control reading the data of the weather station or things like the barometric pressure, temperature, humidity, or whatever sensors are there in the Thingy53, and try to read it using the chip tools and see if we can get the Matter system working. So in here I have the Thingy53, so let's unbox this. It says it supports Bluetooth, Threads, Zigbee, and it's from Nordic. And they have a module out here, and I'm not too sure. I guess this is to program the system using this is the current management and debug board. So we may not necessarily need it immediately. And this is the Thingy53. And here what we have is I just bought the new 7002 expansion board. Whoops. Here we go. And this is the expansion board. In 2023 it's fabricated. And this should have the 7002 Wi-Fi module. And then here we have is the module, and I believe it's supposed to be inserted in here. Yes, it does. And now what I'm going to do is basically use the NRF Thingy53 with the Wi-Fi module and try to communicate using the chip tool. So let's get started. Now before we get into programming the NRF 7002 DK light bulb, let's look at the current setup and topology of my system. So we have a Wi-Fi access point, which is going to be connected to a Linux PC tool running the chip tool. And in here I'm going to use the Thingy53 with the weather sample using the 7002 DK evaluation kit. And we're going to connect all of this through Wi-Fi. I am failing miserably using the thread network, but Wi-Fi seems to be extremely reliable and I'm able to get this working. So this will be the configuration of my setup. So let's get started into downloading the code into the Thingy53. Alright, so let's get started programming the Thingy53 with the Matter weather station example code. So in order for me to program the Thingy53, I'm going to use the NRF 5340 development kit, which is going to be as good as a debug probe, and it's going to program the Thingy53. I have the Wi-Fi extension board connected to the Thingy53. So let's go ahead and program. On the Nordic website, this is the Nordic Thingy53. They have a couple of links where you can get started, and some of them is after clicking the links you can get to developing with the Thingy53. And the way I'm going to program this board is there are a couple of ways in which you can program the board. One is over the air, one is using one of the USB-C outputs, but the one that I'm going to use is the updating through the external debug probe, which is this one, which is I've got a board over here and it's going to be connected to the Thingy53 and I'm going to program the board. Now, what software am I going to use? So the Nordic Thingy53 also has a couple of firmware, precompiled application firmware that you can download, and the one that I'm looking for is the Matter station with Matter WiFi using the NRF 77002 expansion board. And this is what the application is all about. We're going to get to this part, which details the actual application and what you can do with the application. So let's go ahead and program the board. So what I have over here is the Thingy53. So I'm going to erase everything. And I'm going to click add file. I already have downloaded the code, the precompiled version, and I'm going to install the one with the 77002 evaluation board, extension board. And the one that I'm going to use is this particular one, the merged AP2. And I am going to erase and write, and let's have a look. So I'm going to erase and write, and then you'll see it trying to program the board. It's starting to like flash a little bit, and once everything is connected, this light should start to blink. And it says it's completed, and you can see this light starting to blink. Now let's go and use the chip tool to program the board. So this particular board, this is the code actually, so you can also go in the VS Code and then look at what the Matter weather station application is doing. So what I'm going to do is I am going to first configure this board with the Wi-Fi. So the first thing we need to do is pair the device and connect it to my access point. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to copy paste these commands. So the pairing BLE Wi-Fi, this is the node 1. This is the username of my SSID of my Wi-Fi access point password. This is the PAN ID and discriminator ID. So let's press enter and see whether this task gets commissioned. And you can see it flashing, so it's starting to commission. And it looks like it's commissioned. You can see that the light is slightly different. So now let's start reading temperatures. So before we even get to reading, this is where it's important to read what this Thingy53 Matter weather station application is all about, and the code that we're going to follow over here. So at the end, it basically tells us what chip command we need to use in order for us to read some of the outputs that's there in the Thingy53. So the Thingy53 has a couple of sensors. It's got a temperature sensor, humidity sensor, pressure sensor. So let's read and here you can see the command: temperature measurement, relative humidity measurement, and pressure measurement. So we're going to use these commands. I already have them in here. So I'm just going to read the temperature measurements, and I'm going to press enter and click paste. And here you go. And it says that the temperature in my room right now is 25.44. The current temperature in my area, which is in Richmond, Vancouver, Canada, is somewhere like -6 or something. So let's have a look at what the current temperature outside is. So right now it's -4 degrees Celsius. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this device currently outside, and we'll have a look at what the temperature is. So for that, I'm just going to release the debug probe. The beauty about the Thingy53 is that it's got an internal battery in here. So this should work outside as well. So I'm going to place this outside, and we're going to see this temperature fall down. But before we even do that, let's try to look at the reading of the relative humidity where I am. So you can see that the node is 1 and 2 is the second reading. So I'm just going to press this relative humidity measurement, press enter. You can see it reading through, and it says that the relative humidity is 32.12, and the pressure measurement, just reading the air pressure measurement, is 10.13. So we can also look at the air pressure Richmond B.C. So the barometric pressure is around 1012, and currently where I live, and what this is telling us is 1013. So it's very close to what the air pressure, outside air pressure is. So that's pretty accurate. So let's go place this outside and get back and see whether the temperature is constantly falling down. After leaving the Thingy53 outside for pretty much half an hour or so, the outside temperature right now in Richmond, BC, Vancouver right now is -2.72, which is, I've just left it pretty much outside my home, so it's probably receiving some ambient heat from my home. But the temperature right now outside is -5 degrees Celsius, -4, around -5. So yeah, and it's around Saturday 9 p.m. around here, so pretty close. And I don't think it's too off, because as I said, there might be some ambient heat coming from my home. We can also check the current relative humidity, though I'm not too certain how this measurement is. It says 35.70. Currently it says here 74%, so I need to understand what the unit of, probably it's written over here. To read the relative humidity, it'll basically give us this, and the example of the humidity, that means that the current relative humidity value is equal to 25.26%. So yeah, that seems to be a little off, I guess, compared to the humidity around my neighborhood versus the humidity in my city. Here it says the humidity is 35.70, whereas the humidity in my city is around 74%. Nevertheless, at least the temperature is pretty accurate, which is something that I can feel because it's really cold. And the Thingy53 works because it's battery and it's wireless, so I can literally put it anywhere and I can get the sensor reading. So it's a pretty handy device. So to conclude, we just basically commissioned the Thingy53 using the Matter weather station application, and I'm pretty impressed with it because now I can read all this data. I'm also utilizing a lot more of the Matter functionality, like read temperature, read humidity, read pressure sensor, and then we also had the LED toggle on and off, and then we could read values from the other LED from the previous example that I'd showcased in this video that you can see around here. And all of this is now helping me to figure out, how I can create an IoT or home automation system. But beyond that, also how you can apply this type of technology into a broader sense, as I mentioned, in ecological monitoring and biodiversity conservation, so you can deploy these devices remotely and power them using solar panels and start reading the data from the forest or whatever be it, and using a technology that's available to everybody, whoever has a cell phone, because you're using the home automation system. It'll become more ubiquitous, more easily accessible, much more easier to use. So that's where I find the power of this technology. Now there's a lot of quirks, as I mentioned. I couldn't get thread working, and there's a lot of other hurdles that you need to get through, a lot of understanding of how this whole thing works, a lot of abstractions. So there's a lot of hesitation and complexity involved in this application, but nevertheless I do feel like there is some potential to it. I don't know how reliable or relevant it's going to be in in a year or years to come, but as the software keeps getting updated, the technology keeps getting updated, I do find that an approach like this, or something even in the similar lines of of making everything work very seamlessly, making the setup much more easier, can have a lot of benefits. So I hope you enjoyed this video and hope you could learn something from it. And if you really liked the video, do like, do subscribe. And until next time, please take care. Thank you.